The smoke alarm never went off. It was 3 a.m. The fire was already inside the walls, and the family was asleep, which is how most people die in house fires. They never wake up. That night, something woke them. A 70-pound dog throwing itself against the bedroom door, barking like it had lost its mind. And when that didn't work, it bit down on the father's arm and pulled. By the time they hit the front lawn, the roof was gone. The dog turned around and went back in for the cat. It didn't come out. Here's the thing. That isn't a rare story. It's almost a genre. Dogs that drag unconscious owners out of burning rooms. Dogs that step between a toddler and a rattlesnake and take the bite themselves. A house cat that woke a family seconds before a gas leak would have killed all of them. Different animals, different disasters. The same impossible choice, made over and over. Protect the human, whatever it costs. And you've felt the quiet version of this yourself. The way your pet plants itself between you and a stranger it doesn't trust. The way it watches the door when you're sick. You laugh it off. He's just being dramatic. But somewhere under that goofy face is an animal that, in the right 10 seconds, would put its body between you and death without thinking twice. Which raises a genuinely strange question. Would your pet actually die to save you? Not does it love you. Would it choose you over its own life? Because here's what makes that strange. Every instinct an animal has bends toward one command: stay alive. A wild creature does not throw itself at fire or fangs or a moving car. And yet, there are nearly 1 billion pets asleep in human homes tonight, and a startling number of them, in the right 10 seconds, will break that one rule for a person. Take Todd. In 2018, in Arizona, a woman named Paula Godwin was out on a morning hike when she almost stepped on a rattlesnake. She never saw it. Her puppy did. Todd lunged and took the strike meant for her, full in the face. His head swelled like a balloon. He survived. He was barely more than a puppy. But then it gets stranger, because the ones who do this aren't always dogs. In 2014, in Bakersfield, California, a 4-year-old boy was playing in his driveway when a neighbor's dog clamped onto his leg and started dragging him off. The family cat came across the yard like a missile, slammed into the dog, and chased it away. 5 seconds, start to finish. Nobody had trained her to do anything, and it goes further than instinct in the moment. In Australia, a Doberman named Khan, adopted by his family only days earlier, suddenly flung their 17-month-old daughter clear across the yard, out of the path of a king brown snake, and took the bite himself. He'd barely met her. A snake, a neighbor's dog, a baby he'd known for 4 days. None of it adds up, not by the cold math of survival. So before we ask whether your pet would die for you, we have to answer a stranger question first. Why would its brain ever decide you were worth dying for? And that answer was written tens of thousands of years before you were born. To understand it, you have to go back to a campfire. Around 40,000 years ago, your dog's ancestor was a wolf, and wolves were not friends. They were the thing in the dark you listened for. But at the edge of every human camp, there were scraps, bones, fat, half-eaten kills, and a few wolves, born just a little less afraid than the rest, crept toward the fire instead of away from it. Those wolves ate better. They survived better. They had pups. And generation after generation, evolution quietly sorted them, not by size or speed, but by one trait: how calm they could stay near a human. The friendly ones stayed, the fearful ones left. Tens of thousands of years of that, and the wolf became something new. It became the animal asleep on your couch. But here's the part that should unsettle you a little. Your pet didn't just get tamer. Its brain rewired to bond with you specifically. In 2015, researchers in Japan ran a quiet experiment. They had owners simply sit and look into their dog's eyes, then measured a hormone called oxytocin, the same chemical that floods a mother's brain when she holds her newborn. In both the humans and the dogs, it spiked. The longer they held each other's gaze, the higher it climbed. A loop, running between two different species, identical to the one that binds a parent to a child. Then they tried it with wolves raised by humans. The wolves wouldn't hold the gaze. They couldn't. That circuit only exists in dogs, and it points at exactly one thing: you. So your pet's brain isn't treating you like an owner. On a chemical level, it's treating you like family. But a bonded brain still isn't a brain that runs toward fire. Love doesn't override the oldest law there is: stay alive. For that, you need something deeper, and it comes from the pack. A wolf alone is a dead wolf. For millions of years, survival meant the group, and the instinct that grew out of that is simple and absolute. Protect the pack, or everyone dies. Your dog still carries it, but it no longer has a pack of wolves. It has you. The couch, the kitchen, the kids. To your dog, that's the den. And when the den is threatened, the math an animal usually runs. Is this worth my life? Quietly switches off. Now I have to be honest with you, because the truth is more uncomfortable than the stories. Not every pet would. In one study, researchers had owners fake a heart attack, collapse, clutch their chest, right in front of their dogs. The dogs did almost nothing. No fetching help, no heroics. Most just waited. The hero instinct isn't a guarantee. It's a possibility, and it depends on the animal, the bond, and the half-second it's asked. And cats, solitary hunters who never needed a pack, are wired for it far less than dogs. Which is exactly why a cat defending a child is so much rarer and so much stranger than a dog doing it. So the honest answer is already taking shape. Some would, some wouldn't, and it has less to do with love than with a den, a pack, and 40,000 years of wiring. Which leaves one thing this still can't explain, the part that breaks the whole tidy theory. Because every so often, an animal will do it for a human it has known for 4 days. A stranger. Someone outside the pack entirely. Remember Khan, the Doberman who'd known that baby for 4 days. By every rule we've just laid out, he should have done nothing. The baby wasn't his pack yet. There was no decade of bond, no oxytocin loop worn deep by years of shared mornings. 4 days. And still, when the snake moved, he threw her clear and took the strike himself. This is where the science goes quiet. The pack instinct explains your dog protecting you, its family, its den. It does not explain an animal spending its life on a near stranger. And yet it happens, again and again, far too often to be flukes. The best answer researchers have is also the most unsettling. The protective wiring, once it exists, doesn't check credentials. It fires on a trigger, small, vulnerable, mine-adjacent, and a new baby in the house, a child it met on Tuesday, a person who simply belongs to its humans can all trip it. The instinct generalizes. It rounds you up to family faster than logic ever could. But sit with the cases long enough and you start to feel the edge of something the data can't quite hold. 2 dogs, same breed, same training, same snake, and one freezes while the other leaps. The wiring is identical. The choice is not, and no one has fully explained the gap. There's a winter night in northern Michigan that lives in that gap. A man named Bob stepped out on New Year's Eve to grab a log for the fire, slipped on the ice, and broke his neck. He couldn't move. He couldn't call out. The temperature was falling toward lethal, and no one knew he was out there. His dog, Kelsey, did the only thing she could. She lay down on top of him. All night she pressed her body against his to keep him warm, licked his face every time his eyes started to close, and barked into the dark for nearly 20 hours, until, at dawn, someone finally heard her. He lived. The vet found her paws raw from the cold. She was never going to be thanked in a language she understood. She just decided he was not going to be alone in the snow. So, would your pet die for you? Here's the truth, as honestly as it can be said. It isn't really a question about death. It's a question about a line, the invisible one in your pet's mind between the human who feeds me and mine. You can't see the moment you cross it. There's no ceremony. One ordinary day, somewhere under that goofy face, the math just changes, and a creature built by 40,000 years of cold survival quietly files you under the one thing it will not calculate the cost of protecting. You'll probably never know if yours is one of the ones who would. Most of us never have to find out. That's the mercy of it. But tonight, the animal that already decided will fall asleep somewhere near you, at the foot of the bed, against your leg, on the warm spot you just left. It won't say anything. It doesn't know you've spent the last few minutes wondering about it. It only knows where you are, and that, as far as it's concerned, is where it's supposed to be. It made its choice a long time ago. You just found out tonight.